Good evening. Tonight we're talking about the green card, the little plastic card that lets millions live and work in America. It's a symbol of stability. But here's the catch. It expires. Renewing it has always been a bureaucratic nightmare, but now it's about to get even harder. As of September 2025, USCIS has rolled out changes that fundamentally alter the rules for green card holders. This isn't a minor tweak, it's a seismic shift that could jeopardize your ability to work, travel, or even stay in the country. Missing a deadline or misunderstanding the new rules could unravel years of hard work. We're here to cut through the jargon, explain what's changing, and show you how to protect yourself. The stability a green card represents is more fragile than ever. So let's break down what you need to know, because what you don't know can absolutely hurt you. Let's get into the details and break down exactly what's about to change, so you can be prepared and not caught off guard. The Secure Status Modernization Act is set to overhaul the green card renewal process, and it brings three major changes that will impact thousands of immigrants across the country. First, the renewal window for your 10-year green card is now just 90 days, half of what it used to be. Previously, you had a generous 6 months to prepare, but now, you'll have to act much faster. That means less time to gather all the necessary documents, save up for the application fees, and make sure your paperwork is flawless before you submit. For many, this shorter window could mean scrambling to get everything together, especially if you're juggling work, family, or other responsibilities. Second, if you miss that window, your status is downgraded to provisional the very next day after your card expires. There's no grace period, no second chances. In provisional status, you lose key rights. Suddenly, you can't work legally, you can't travel outside the country, and you lose access to federal benefits. This can put your job, your family's stability, and your future at risk. You're stuck in limbo, waiting for USCIS to decide your fate. With no clear timeline for when things might be resolved, the uncertainty can be overwhelming. Third, some renewals now require a mandatory in-person interview. This is a big shift from the old process, which was mostly paperwork. Instead of a simple paper process, you could be randomly selected for an interview that adds months of uncertainty and stress. You'll have to prepare for questions, gather even more documents, and wait for a new decision. These changes create a pressure cooker. One mistake, one missed deadline, and you could lose everything you've worked so hard for. It's not modernization. It's a trap that could catch even the most careful applicants off guard. The new system is less about efficiency and more about catching people off guard, making it easier to fall through the cracks. The result? More chaos, more delays, and more lives upended as people struggle to keep up with the new rules. Let's look at what this means in practice and how you can protect yourself and your loved ones from these sudden changes. Enhanced scrutiny sounds ominous, and it is. Now, every green card renewal is a mini reinvestigation of your entire immigration history. You must submit new evidence proving you still qualify for permanent residence. Marriage-based green card? You'll need fresh proof your marriage is real, even after decades. Employment-based? Get ready to show pay stubs and employer letters. USCIS officers can demand any documents they want, with no clear standards. One officer might want a letter, another, a decade of records. And if you're flagged for an interview, you'll face questions about your life and history with no explanation why you were chosen. It's a system designed for confusion and delay. The burden is on you to prove, again and again, that you belong. Who's hit hardest by these new rules? The elderly and those with limited English skills are facing a process that feels almost impossible to navigate. With deadlines now tighter than ever, confusing online portals, and interviews conducted only in English, many older immigrants are left feeling overwhelmed and isolated. For seniors who may not be tech-savvy or fluent, every step is a new hurdle. Low-income families are next in line. The renewal fees have climbed, and the process is so complex that legal help is quickly becoming a necessity, not a luxury. For families already struggling to make ends meet, these extra costs can be devastating. For many, the cost of staying legal is simply out of reach. Some are forced to choose between paying for groceries or paying for paperwork, a choice no one should have to make. Anyone with a complicated history, like minor legal issues, frequent address changes, or time spent outside the country, now faces even more scrutiny. The risk of denial is higher, and the process is more intimidating than ever. And don't forget those dealing with illness or sudden emergencies. The old 6-month buffer is gone. Now, a single crisis or hospital stay can make you miss the deadline, putting your entire future at risk. The new system is rigid and unforgiving. There's little room for mistakes, and technical glitches or missing documents can mean starting over from scratch. It punishes the most vulnerable, the elderly, the poor, the sick, and anyone whose life isn't perfectly tidy or predictable. If you're juggling multiple challenges, the odds are stacked against you. If you're not fully prepared, you could lose your status through no fault of your own. Even a small oversight can have life-changing consequences. The margin for error is gone. Every detail matters, and there's no safety net if something goes wrong. These changes don't just affect individuals, they threaten the stability of entire families. Parents, children, and grandparents all feel the impact, creating a ripple effect of anxiety and uncertainty. The stakes have never been higher. For millions, the American dream now hangs by a thread. Let's take a closer look at how a real-world policy change can impact an ordinary family. Meet the Garcias, a hard-working family living in the heart of America, just trying to build a better life. Carlos and Maria have called this neighborhood home for 15 years. They've raised their children here, built friendships, and contributed to their community in countless ways. But now, their green cards are set to expire in December 2025, a date that's suddenly looming much larger than before. Under the old rules, they would have had a comfortable 6 months to gather documents and renew their status, with time to spare. But with new regulations, that window shrinks to just 90 days. When they try to apply online, the government portal crashes repeatedly, adding to their anxiety. Meanwhile, Carlos's employer demands immediate proof of renewal, threatening his job security. The pressure on the family intensifies. They manage to submit their application just in time, but soon receive a request for evidence. It turns out they forgot to update their address 2 years ago, a simple oversight with big consequences. Now, they must scramble to find old bills and letters to prove they never abandoned their home, digging through years of paperwork late into the night. Despite their efforts, their green cards expire before they can respond to the government's request. Overnight, their legal status drops to provisional, leaving them in a state of uncertainty and fear. Maria is immediately put on unpaid leave from her job, unable to provide for her family. The family's income is suddenly slashed, forcing them to make tough choices about bills, groceries, and their children's needs. Carlos is called for an in-person interview, but the earliest available slot is 4 months away, 4 months of waiting and worrying. In the meantime, they can't renew their driver's licenses or travel to visit family members, even in emergencies. The Garcias did everything by the book, followed every rule, but now find themselves trapped in a bureaucratic maze that's turned their lives upside down. Sadly, this isn't just their story. It's becoming the new normal for thousands of families across the country. For many, the American dream is slipping away, replaced by a bureaucratic nightmare that feels impossible to escape. An expired green card is more than an inconvenience. It's a disaster. First, you risk losing your job. Employers can't legally keep you without valid work authorization. Lose your job, and your finances unravel fast. Rent, bills, food, all at risk. Without valid status, you can't renew your driver's license in many states. Everyday life becomes a struggle. Travel, forget it. An expired card means you can't leave the country, or return if you do. Family emergencies abroad become impossible to attend. Worst of all, if your renewal is denied, you could face deportation. Years of stability can vanish overnight. Under these new rules, the path from resident to removal is shorter and steeper than ever. The stakes are life-altering. You might think, just become a citizen. But the same changes making green card renewal harder also complicate citizenship. Delays or gaps in your status can break the continuous residence requirement for naturalization. Enhanced scrutiny means any small mistake in your past can derail your citizenship application. To apply for citizenship, you need a valid green card. But if you're stuck in renewal limbo, you can't move forward. It's a bureaucratic catch-22. The finish line keeps moving further away. The system is now a maze with no clear exit. The only way through is to be prepared and vigilant. So, what can you do? Here's your action plan. First, know your green card's expiration date. Set reminders. Don't wait for a notice. Start preparing your renewal 100 days before expiration to give yourself a buffer. Keep meticulous records. Pay stubs, bills, tax returns, travel documents, photos, anything that proves your life here. Organize both digital and physical copies. Save for the renewal fee in advance, or check if you qualify for a fee waiver. Don't let money be the reason you miss your window. If you feel overwhelmed, get legal help. It's an investment in your future. Nonprofits and legal clinics can help if you can't afford a lawyer. Don't try to navigate this alone. The risks are too high. Preparation is your best defense. In this new era, being organized isn't optional. It's survival. Take control now, before the system takes control of you. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, but panic won't help. The system is confusing by design, but knowledge and preparation are your best tools. You've overcome so much to build a life here. This is just one more challenge. The American dream has always come with paperwork. Now the margin for error is zero. Be organized, be vigilant, and help your community do the same. Share what you've learned. Empower others. Don't let bureaucracy derail your future. You belong here, and your contributions matter. Now, you just have to prove it every 10 years. So, take a deep breath, make a plan, and get to work. Your future is worth fighting for. Good night.